Let's not play the intro this time.
It's not letting me go live on Instagram yet. I hate this. Oh, man, what's going on?
You have to click the go live thing.
It won't let me till it registers. There it is. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dark Horse Tackle Live, your digital doc talk platform.
You proud of yourself with that one, bub?
Yeah, it's catchy and it
works. Not bad.
And
digital
somebody
doc
is going to copy it within the next week. I promise you that.
Sure.
It's going to happen. That's the industry that we live in.
So that's it. I mean, we're live. People can hear us now.
Yep. That's it.
Mr. Scott, I don't even know how. Vermonter. Scott Vermonter.
I'm guessing Scott's from Vermont.
I wonder if he's from Vermont. But I think he's always the first one to say, "Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?"
Sneaks through on the YouTube side.
Yeah. YouTube spy.
The YouTube spy, correct. Yeah, we got a lot of news today. We got
not from Vermont.
No, his last name is just something you would call somebody
misleading.
From
Misleading.
Yeah.
Misleading. So yeah, we do have a bunch of stuff to talk about. We got the March boxes landed on the doorsteps of people all across this great nation.
Yep.
He is from Vermont. It's not misleading.
See?
People from all across Vermont.
I would love for you to
what's going on,
Bob? Tell the people why you have a net on your head, but
I'm worried about murder hornets.
There is 2 people watching total. So
yeah, no, I'm super worried about murder hornets.
We are hitting the ground running today.
That's
yeah. This is what
anyways,
it's all about.
Now this is we featured this company as a featured small business.
Yes.
And I want to say the August box of 2024.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I just looked up the
We've done
card
them twice. Buddy. That's why we've done them twice.
So Broken Twigs landing nets. This is probably, I don't know. It's the most quality net I've ever. I'll tell you what, it's way more quality than the one that I didn't know how to use on Joe's boat.
Correct.
But very quality net, upcycled from broken hockey sticks.
Yep.
Which, let me tell you the benefits of that. The whatever coating they have on these sticks, like, you're not gonna let go of it. Like,
it is lighter and stronger than the net that you have.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, that's right. Great.
Yeah, that's cool. But anyways, we are now a certified dealer of Broken Twig landing nets.
Yay!
So, I still have to create a menu item. For some reason, I wasn't able to because it wouldn't load. I don't know what's going on, but I'll get that up here tonight at some point. But starting now, you can purchase these on darkhorsetackle.com.
Yes.
Along with, you can also, we talked about it on the last live, Yak Gadget. So you guys, I mean, come get this stuff. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like we talked about last week, man, we are becoming more of a full service tackle shop, still with the undying means of supporting small business in the United States. We are not going to sell you lose fishing rods, fishing reels. That's just not going to happen. We'll probably never dabble in the fishing reel game because, well, there isn't any small businesses that make fishing reels because you need about $1 million to start. So unless the guy
$1 billion,
unless the guy really loves fishing reels, and really wants to change the game, I don't see it being a thing.
Dude, I'm so excited about having not only Yak Gadget, but now Broken Twig landing nets. Dude, listen, until you have literally touched one of these nets, you don't understand.
It is stronger, it is lighter, and it is better than the net that you have. Yes. Yeah. It is better than the net that you have in every single way.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot refute that. You just can't. It floats, like Zach said. It's light. It's grippy.
Dude, those sticks are made out of
carbon fiber.
Yeah, carbon fiber.
Yeah. Hockey sticks retail for about $300.
Yeah.
Just like fishing rods. You know, a good hockey stick is as much as a good fishing rod. You only need one good hockey stick, though. See, I've got one good hockey stick and I've got a burner. The burner is a light wood composite hybrid. Transitions to composite. I do not have a single fishing rod that is wood to composite.
I actually have something I'd like to tell the folks. I'm going to read it. So, from Broken Twig landing nets, unmatched features and quality. Broken Twig landing nets are premium fishing nets, handcrafted from recycled hockey sticks and quality components. Our patented design, helps create fishing products unlike anything else on the market. By the way, they do have gaffs too.
Nice.
Broken Twig landing nets quality and versatility make it the perfect net for hardcore anglers and weekend warriors alike. We believe nobody, they say no one, should have to choose between fishing and hockey. Love it. Love it. Love these boys. This is Broken Twig is a dark horse tackle business if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not to mention the owner Chris is a super stand-up dude that I absolutely enjoy talking to every time I get the chance to, man. Badass.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I believe like May of 2021 was the first time we featured him.
I don't know. I don't know what you did back then.
Like, I've just known him for like 5 years.
That was before me. I don't know what you guys did back then. I've never seen anything from them until we featured them in last year, August 2024.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's been around for a while. And he's got a great thing going. So, I mean, be on the lookout for us to also pick up more small businesses because we just found a way to do that.
Yeah. So, like, if it's not a bait, but it's a great small fishing centric business, we're going to do what we can.
Yep.
Because it's all of us small businesses sticking together and each one of us, you know, putting the other one on their shoulders as best we can. That's how this works. It's the virtuous cycle. And this is like the best tool to enhance the virtuous cycle we've found to date.
Well, that's about all the news we have. Yak Gadget, Broken Twig.
Yeah, get you some. DarkHorseTackle.com.
And we've got an unboxing to do, but first we gotta get Ryan Parker in here.
Yeah, Ryan Parker's got some stuff.
Get Ryan Parker in.
Should we wait? Should we start in on the box and then bring Ryan Parker on?
Oh, we should start in on the box. I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too. I'll save Parker. You want to focus on one thing for last, correct?
Well, it doesn't have to be last, just whenever it comes up.
Sure. We'll start it off.
And then we do have someone joining us. We do have someone joining us at some point in the last half of the show for a fishing conditions report.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it Scott Vermonter?
It's not Scott Vermonter, but it is the Northeast.
It is the
Northeast. It's a Joe Brown.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What time did you tell him to show up?
And Josh and I, towards the end, somewhere around whenever we get Joe coming up, we'll give you the fishing report from Pennsylvania and Ohio.
Yeah, it's
it's windy. It's spoiler alert.
unless you're fishing ponds, man. I don't know. Rivers would have probably done it. So we've got the March box, right? Video's coming soon. I need a day where I don't get off at damn near 6:30 p.m. March box features a new bait company. Technically two new bait companies between J. Corwin Lures and Knockout Baits. But this is your front cover right here.
That's
this
Corey.
Corey Stewart. This is the owner of J. Corwin Lures.
With a fine bass. With a fine bass.
That's like your average table rock 20-incher. That's like all they catch down there.
It's beautiful.
It's a weird lake.
Nice picture. Nice picture.
Great picture.
Yeah. So Corey is a guy that takes pride in, it seems like, everything he does, including the pictures he takes and the baits that he makes. It's very evident.
He is very forward.
We're gonna have to get him. We're gonna have to get him on here, bub.
Yes, he's very forward with his vision as far as what he wants for baits, and he's just like he's reinventing a wheel that's not even invented yet. With the molds he does, with the style of spinner baits, the style of buzz baits, like he's got a lot
definitely
of cool
be on the lookout for more from J. Corwin, because
for sure.
It's very, very, very excited to add them to our Rolodex.
So we've got a testimony here for the Dark Horse Tackle debut of J. Corwin Lures. Born in the heartland, welcome to J. Corwin Lures, the home of high-quality handcrafted bass fishing lures, designed for anglers who value the originality and purity of the sport. Unlike mass-produced alternatives, every lure we create is born from a passion for fishing and a commitment to excellence. At J. Corwin Lures, we believe putting quality over quantity, ensuring that every single product is designed, crafted, and tested with the utmost care and precision. Our vision is driven by attention to detail, and it's very obvious if you've seen the baits, and a desire to stay unique in an oversaturated commercialized market. And that means
detailed down to the way he puts the baits in a box to ship to a retailer.
Right.
This guy is awesome.
Right. Yeah, he's great. And as we talked about last week, we need conditions reporters.
Mm-hmm. We want to hear from you.
Hit up Zach at darkhorsetackle.com or Josh at darkhorsetackle.com. Zach is spelled Z-E-C-H. Josh is spelled J-O-S-H. It is 2 4-letter 1-syllable names at darkhorsetackle.com.
Hey, we got Scott Sinclair in the chat from Bass Dope Lures.
Good. Stick around, Scott, because you're up to bat. So we got the baits. Let's talk about the baits.
Do we want to bring him on?
I'm about to roll through this.
Yeah, roll through it. I'll see if he can come on and tell us a little bit.
So we're gonna start from top to bottom. He's up next. We have got Knockout Baits. Could be a familiar name if you're familiar with the name Garrett Steele. Garrett has been a painter for us for a while, and the Knockout Baits is a venture of his own, whereas Anthem, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be his own personal designs. Is that correct? Anthem Baits will be original work.
Wait. What are you talking about, Anthem Baits?
I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
Knockout Baits is owned by Garrett Steele.
Yes.
If you're familiar with Garrett Steele, he is also the owner of Anthem Baits. Not Anthem Baits.
Active Catch. Yeah, that's where you had me confused, buddy.
An Active Catch, the difference between Knockout is doing baits that you can paint. He's buying the blanks, he's painting the baits, whereas Active Catch is now going to be a proprietary blank to.
Yeah, he's making some resin cranks.
Cool. That's that was what I was curious about. And it's not a name change, it is just a whole new deal for him. So this is the Alpheus 1.5 M. Got a few different colors here. This is the Molten Crawl. I was going to say Red Crawl, but it's the Molten Crawl. Great little springtime deal. This bait goes 4 to 5 feet, weighs just over a half ounce, almost 3 inches long. It is very loud.
Yeah. So the name Alpheus is the official name, scientific name given to, I believe it's called the tiger shrimp, which is the 4th loudest animal in the world. When it clacks its claws, the sound it makes is over 200 decibels.
And it's got to be annoying.
That's why we gave it the name the Alpheus.
Now, the version of the Alpheus that I have is quite very much chewed up, hook rashed.
The Beetle, baby.
I have, this is the Beetle. This is a Dark Horse Tackle exclusive. Let's hone in on that, because if you could see the sparkle. There we go. Nice black pearlescent blue. This shows up great in all watercolor. Super muddy, super clear. This has a presence. And this is what's considered a triple knocking crankbait. It's got 3 different size rattles in it. One's big, one's medium, and then you've got the 2 that you can hear the most. Those are just your loose little BBs rolling around. Next up, now that we got Scott in the chat, I'll do my own.
You want to bring him on, bub?
Yeah, I'm going to do my own personal testament, and then we'll get Scott in here to
testify.
Talk about
Testify.
I got to get the trailer off.
Dude, I'm so excited about fishing. Later. Like, you know, cabin fever, right? It's like tripled whenever you're a fisherman, and like to the point where you're willing to go out in the worst conditions possible, Josh. And
yep.
Just to give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, we were out yesterday. Dude, it just felt like perpetual 30-mile-an-hour wind.
Dude, it was a washing machine.
Like,
it was literally a washing machine.
It was going all directions. Once you get the kayak straightened out for the wind blowing out of the south, it comes out of the east. Once you get it set up for the east, it comes out of the west. And it was not nice. The wind was not nice. And again, you'll see, you won't see tomorrow, because tomorrow's bait of the week. Which for those of you who are watching now, the bait of the week is in my hands, because I can't talk enough about this bait, and I want to talk about it now. But coming this week will be a video of me falling out of my kayak again, with a PFD on. For those of you,
finally,
for the police officers of Instagram and YouTube, I was wearing my PFD in 3 feet of water. Okay, I was waist deep, and I'm very glad I had it on, because when I hit that weed bed, I sank another 4 inches. We weren't really fishing too deep.
The water was cold, though. I tell you what, though, if you'd have been 6 feet more to the north, you'd have been in like what, 20?
Yeah, it was a bit of a drop. We were fishing a shelf that went like this. 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 40.
The gates of hell.
Yeah, like you could see the bank from like 20 feet out, and then it was just a pit. Oh, in my hand here, since I've already shown you, this is the Speedball Ultimate Swim Jig from Vast Oak Lures. This is my personal favorite color. I love this color. Moon Dust.
Is it Blue Zen?
No, Blue Zen has the brown in it.
Crap. I can't remember. You ought to ask Scott. He'll tell you.
We'll get Scott on here in a second. I've got it right here. Buried. This is Black Magic. Oh, boy.
Black Magic Moon Dust.
Black Magic. Well, this looks like the moon, man. So, Black Magic's my favorite color. And the reason why Black Magic's my favorite color is this right here. This is a very, very, very slept-on deal. this weird bluish, grayish, brownish, purple. It's just pure pearlescent. I prefer a 1/4 ounce. I prefer 1/4 ounce and 3/8.
It super matches your attire right now, buddy.
Yeah. I did this on purpose.
That's very nice. That's very nice.
All day. I was thinking about this all day. But this is this swim jig, man. Like you've got a very closed off eyelet right here, allowing that nice transition. Big, not really stiff. Big flexible weed guard at what I think is like the perfect angle for deflection, because it's coming through this way and it's just bulldozing right through weeds. Whereas your more slick back, that's still going to, in my opinion, allow some of that goop to stay on it. Whereas this, you feel that, you feel it go through, pop it once, it's gone.
Yeah, it's a cow pusher, man. It's a cow pusher. Get out of my way. Get out of my way.
This is like, again, just another Basto product that continuously surprises me and impresses me.
Oh, dude, we're making our way through that catalog, baby.
Yeah. And if you guys don't like it, man, dude, tough. I don't know what to tell you. Because we like this shit. Like,
why don't we get Scott on here to tell us a little bit about the speedball?
Scott, what's going on?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
You were just double birding all of our customers, and I want to know why.
I was backstage. It's
That's
all
right.
good,
That's
man.
right. The backstage is important.
So from the maker himself, why don't you tell us a little bit about the speedball, baby?
It's a labor of love. I'm so glad you guys picked that. You know, I didn't tell you to pick it. I was just kind of like, look at this pretty picture out there, see if they catch on. It is, our candy and our footballs jig and the speedball are our best sellers. The speedball is just, people don't realize how good that jig is.
No, you can flip it too, dude. Like, let's be real here. You can flip it. I've caught a lot of fish on the drop with it.
Yeah, and we make them in heavier weights too. So I've got them in 3/4, so you can really flip that thing.
I want to buy one. Is the hook bigger on the 3/4?
Yes,
it's a 5/8, 5/0.
Oh, dude, that with like a 5 to 6 inch swim bait on the back.
Yeah, it definitely bulldozes through stuff.
It's like a 900-yard cast too.
The speedball, the head on that is the same design as the one that you use like naked for the baby A rig, isn't it?
Yeah. The Smack swim bait jig head came from the swim jig. You know, once we came up with a good design, I wanted to utilize it over and over again.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And we actually have a spinnerbait coming out with that head very soon.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you're getting ready to release that, there's a company that you should contact.
I will let you know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of opportunities there, because if you notice on our website, I think our spinnerbaits, we only are utilizing about 5 colors. I kept it real simple. We're going to come out with some new colors when we get the redesign. So it might be a good time to do a
hell yeah. That's that, dude. Josh and I have been back and forth because we've talked to you a few times about getting an exclusive color on something.
Yep.
And there's a problem. Yeah, there's a problem with that because your colors are so damn good.
Yep.
We'd really like it. Oh, he's got it.
Yep. I was genuinely like, let's do that clear like salt and pepper that's kind of pearly. Throw in that black magic blue with a little bit of chartreuse, and it's called something.
Yeah, you've already got it.
It's there. We were just spitballing.
It's funny though with the colors, man. I came up with some good ones, I'll admit, but most of the colors have come from customers saying, "Hey, can you do something like this?" Yep. And I can't just do just a straight simple color. So I take the inspiration of what the customers are looking for and then put my little flair into it. Because in order for them to be on the site, I gotta like it, you know. And so that's kind of where they come from. It's a little bit of both. It's some great ideas from customers and then a little twist.
Well, see, that's the way Josh and I. That's the way Dark Horse Tackle is built. Dark Horse Tackle. When you go on to darkhorsetackle.com, everything on our site is a suggestion from Josh or myself.
Right.
We're not going to put anything on there that we wouldn't like suggest to you. You know what I mean? Like, so,
Or that we wouldn't throw, or that we haven't.
and I feel like the way you're talking about these colors, it's the same thing from you. Like, I'm not gonna like make something that like I'm just okay with. I'm gonna make something that I would literally suggest to you in person. Like, dude, you need to throw this color.
Because you know how we are as fishermen. There are certain colors that we gravitate towards and that we find are the ones that we like. Everybody's got their like at least 3 or 4 colors that they're super confident in. So when these customers are like, hey, I want something that's got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I come up with something and they're like, oh, it's so perfect. Then I fish it and I'm like, damn, this is
right.
So I expand and change all the time with the colors, way more than I really want to.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, I mean, is there anything else you can tell us about the speedball jig before we let you go, bub?
Dude, that stupid head. So much time and effort went into building that head and just making it perfect with that engulfed hook, you know, so you don't have little snag points, you know, when you're like, I know you guys, we probably fish very similar waters being in the upper Midwest where there's a lot of snot and slime. So you might have some decent grass, but then there's snot and slime on that decent grass. So having a swim jig where the hook eye is separated from the weight is just so problematic. No matter how, you know, arrowhead like the head is. So by sealing off that hook eye and just making it like a real true Dalton arrowhead, and then those little flared cheeks on the side kind of push it away from push a little bit away from the skirt. Everything we did on it was intentional. Even the eye placement, like I spent hours with the guy that I work with. So what I do is I design the stuff with graph paper, like literally with a pencil and graph paper.
Dude, graph paper is my best friend.
Dude, it's so good. I mean, I'm glad we learned that back when we were young. And then I send it to the guy who sets up my molds, and he takes those ideas and puts them into what's it called? Whatever. The whole
CAD.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then he'll send it back to me. I'm like, you know, you're close, but we need to shave off of here, do this or that. But the eye placement on that stupid jig took hours. So we put a lot of love into that jig, and I'm real proud of it. And caught some giant fish on it.
Fantastic. Well, Scott, thank you very much for hopping on, telling us a little bit more about the speedball jig, and we will be contacting you in the future. We are going to make our way through the Bass Dope catalog because you've got some phenomenal products, my man.
Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. Love you guys.
See you, bub.
Scott. See you, buddy. All right. Next up, and with our tips and tricks section, we'll get Ryan in here in a second. The J. Corwin Lures Mule. This is a new company. And this is a brand new bait, literally a brand new plastic design that Zach and I have seen. We've never
proprietary.
Right. Prior to this, we never fished a design like this. Now, I'll set the tone by saying, yes, I've thrown a creature bait. Yes, I've thrown something with 2 tails on it. Blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of thinking that goes into this mule.
Yeah. And for somebody that nerds out,
for
somebody that nerds out on baits, I don't think we could have anybody better besides Corey himself, but we don't have him tonight. But I think Ryan's gonna lay it out.
Ryan will get in there. But I got to show this off because it'll be on the site soon.
Yeah.
And this is our dark horse color. We're making rounds with green pumpkin purple because green pumpkin purple is
badass
color, and not many companies sell it the way that we want it. They'll sell it with flake. They'll sell it with they won't sell it as a laminate. They won't sell it as a swirl. So here we are, and here is Ryan Parker. Ryan, how are you?
What's up? Doing good.
Yo, what do you got for us?
Well, let's just pick it up with that because this excited me.
Yes.
Like there was so much good stuff in the box, and I was like, man, if I had to pick one though, it was I want to say it was a tough decision, but I've talked spinnerbaits recently. Like I'm really picky on jigs of all types, but I don't get very excited about soft plastics.
And not many people do, which is crazy because soft plastics are basically the most important part of bass fishing.
They're huge. Like we use them a lot.
80%
With
of the
everything,
time.
and you can do so much with the soft plastic if you realize like the power that these little things have, which is what we're talking about tonight. And that's what excited me so much about this mule. Like as soon as I put it in my hands, I immediately went over to the J. Corwin Lures website and started looking at the entire catalog of everything else, because I was like, ooh, somebody thought about this. Like somebody definitely thought about this.
No, this you did great work.
Yeah, like immediately I was like I want my plastics to do as much as they can for me. Like I like a lot of versatility in what I can do with this thing. And you can tell that was designed into this, that was designed into the drifter. Like everything over there is so much versatility in every single one of those things that I was like, okay, like this is high on my radar now. Like I don't, and it wasn't even on the radar before. So like, you guys want to know what Dark Horse does for anybody listening? It's that it's going to put the best thing in your hand that you didn't know you wanted in your, in your tackle box, in your
put
tackle
it on
bag.
the radar.
Yeah. Like I wish I would have found this or something like this, forever ago. Before I'd carry 4 different baits for what this can do.
It's awesome, man.
So let's talk about some of what it can do.
Yes.
We're going to talk jig trailers, or just trailers in general was what I was going to get into tonight, which this is and can do or not. It can do a lot of things. But, and just what a soft plastic on the back of a bait can do, how you can change a bait with a soft plastic. And a lot of that can depend on, appendages that are on the backs of these things. These 3, that's the J. Corwin. If you cut this off, like right there at that little skinny part, you have a perfect twin tail grub trailer, which to me is, if you were only going to have one jig trailer for the rest of eternity, a twin tail grub is
it's a good one.
My pick, because
it does so much.
It has tons of action. And then I put it on my jigs in the wintertime because I see you smelling it over there too. I know.
Oh yeah, the scent he's got in there. It's called something. I can't remember what it's called.
ProCure's the company
that
makes.
Yeah.
ProCure is baked into plastic, whereas a lot of guys will pour the plastic first, then throw in oil.
Which not all baits absorb that oil. That's a whole nother rabbit hole that we're not going to go down tonight. But this is a little chopped down Interceptor Wrecking Ball Chaos.
I love the Interceptor baits, dude.
All right, so I think that the little ball tails, they're underrated like crazy. They do so much with you doing so little. They never stop moving. That's why
5.5-inch swim bait.
Yeah, I know.
It's nice. I like it.
I've seen it. That's what I actually like about the twin tail grubs in the wintertime, because they're ribbons. I mean, such thin plastic. And these ones in particular are very thin plastic. It does not take anything to move those.
No.
But in the wintertime, when you're just kind of dead sticking a jig, those things just sit there and they just work
perpetual
with whatever natural. Yeah. They do a lot for you without doing anything.
Right,
You know,
and they're not moving too much water. They're not. It's not like a rage tail situation.
Right. There's a time and a place for that, you know, but most of the time it's not. Like, so if I took this in like almost its full form, I would be chopping it probably right below, you know, those appendages and putting that on a full skirted jig or something like that. Like,
Yep.
I'm not necessarily looking for the rage tail for water displacement. When I bulk it that big, that bait is so big, it is displacing the water that I need to displace. And oftentimes when I'm doing that, that's dirty water conditions. You've got to drop it right on their head anyway. Trust me, they know it's there. Sometimes you just have to let it sit a little bit longer, give them a second to find that thing. It's not the kick of the trailer that's really doing that. When I want kick on a trailer is when I'm fishing, you know, high in laydowns that are in like 14, 15 feet. My bite's not happening 14, 15 feet down. I want a lot of kick in a trailer because it slows the rate of fall. It keeps it in the strike zone longer because that fish is maybe 5, 6, 7 feet down in that laydown that's in 14 feet of water. They're not all the way on the bottom, you know, so there's a time and a place. And again,
so you're using the jig to change the hydrodynamics of you're using plastic. The trailer to change the hydrodynamics of the presentation.
Exactly. A lot of times if I'm on the bottom, if I'm fishing things on the bottom, I want something that has a very quick fall. That is the big Joshy goby. So again, one big flappy tail that doesn't do anything. It doesn't impede the bait from falling. Right. You know, but if I do pull it off a ledge, I need it to fall now. I don't need it to kind of glide out. I want that thing to kind of drop. Same thing with that interceptor. It's like it does a lot down on the bottom when it's there, but it's also not keeping it from, because like usually I'm pulling this down a point. I want it to fall off of something or bump into something. These things do a lot when they're just sitting there. Like if I bump into a rock or a stump or whatever, they're doing the work for me. But if it falls off a ledge, okay, now I can give it, you know, drop my rod tip and follow it down, you know, and I know that it's not coming way out off that thing.
For the spring, especially the early spring, the water's in the 40s, it's tapping 50. A lot of action and not a lot of action is unfortunately the make or break. Sometimes they want it, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to tell when. So having a twin tail grub such as the mule, or, you know, if you're using it as a twin tail grub, we all know it's not a twin tail grub. That's going to be your happy medium.
Let's call it a twin tail, because a twin tail in particular, it's going to do a lot, you know. We'll generalize it for this conversation right now.
Sure.
Because like a swim jig is different than, you know, a flipping jig and stuff like that. You're kind of getting like a twin tail style, something with a lot of action and a lot of resistance on the fall is going to slow that jig on a flipping jig. On a swim jig, that's kind of in a way doing the same thing, but it's like there's some different things that it is doing on a swim jig versus like a boot tail. So a boot tail, this thing can kind of like, especially if I'm fishing wood, if I'm fishing like higher wood and stuff like that, I tend to opt for the twin tail because it keeps it from rolling nearly as bad. You know, grass, I'm fishing a straight tail because it comes through it better. Unless I am burning things on top of the grass, then I start to go back into the twin tail style things because it keeps it from rolling and it helps keep it up. So I will say with any jig, one thing that a trailer does for you, I could take this little cut off chunk. And I do this on like finesse jigs sometimes when I don't really want I don't want a lot coming up off the hook, right? But it doesn't look natural when that skirt flares and there's nothing there.
It's a focal
It doesn't look natural, right? So I'll take just like a cut off piece of a stick worm, or in this case, this is a piece of an interceptor I cut off a minute ago, and I'll just thread that on the hook so there's a body of something there, right? But in any case, that little hunk of plastic bulks the skirt out. It builds that bait out, and that in and of itself is an important thing to take note of. How big do I want the presence of my jig? A long, skinny trailer,
So if I was gonna title your tip for this week, it would be choose your trailer with purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
How to choose a trailer with
You summed it up better than I did.
That's
But I would have. I need 5 sentences.
That's fair.
I think we're all learning that.
No worries. Ryan, do you have anything else for us, buddy?
No, just buy these things. They're so good.
Yes,
They're so good.
and they will be live on our site here within the week.
Yep. So
Cool.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan.
No problem.
We'll talk to you in a couple weeks, buddy.
See you guys.
See ya.
We do need to get
right.
a little song and dance, 2-second little intro for Ryan coming on.
Well,
He needs
got
a little
the keyboard.
song. He needs a little
Got the
song.
keyboard.
We got to
Now,
do something.
I'm gonna get our guest in here for our regional fishing report, and we'll get back to the box after that.
Yeah.
We'll take a little box break. We'll get Joe Brown in here, American Vet Fishing. Joe, how are you?
What's up, Joe?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Is that Emma?
That's Emma.
Emma, how
hi.
come you didn't come see us at the expo?
She had to go to school.
You stayed home. It was an adult trip, right?
Yeah, she was the adult.
Hey,
Yeah.
Joe, we got an echo, buddy.
Oh, you got an echo? Hold on. My apologies. Hold on. Oh, you think I would have done this before?
Yeah, something like that.
How about now?
Hello. Yeah,
No,
good.
we're good.
All right,
Beautiful.
perfect.
How's the Northeast treating you?
The Northeast is good, man. The ice is out. The ice is off. It's gone. At least I can speak to Southern New England. I can't speak for Vermont, Maine, all those guys. But here in Southern New England, Massachusetts down to Connecticut, east down towards Cape Cod, we are out, dude. I've already had the boat out, ready to go. Did a little fishing, fought the wind a bit, but we are in that winter to pre-spawn transition right now, for sure.
Water temps?
So water temps right now are sitting mid 40s. If you go east, at low to mid 40s. If you go out east towards Cape Cod, you're looking more high 40s, like 48 ish. Yeah, so they're starting to move out. They're starting to get out of those deep holes and start to transition up to those secondary points and whatnot, looking for that cover.
And I know you got the finest electronics on the tip of that boat of yours. So can you tell us anything about I guess you just did. What exactly the fish are doing? You said they're moving up.
Yeah, so they're moving up. So they're going out of the deep holes. So they're hitting those ledges, kind of making their way up to their transition points, basically right now.
Gotcha.
They're still hugging pretty tight to the bottom. They're as they transition up, they're hugging pretty tight to the bottom. I noticed, but I was using jerk baits. I threw the blade bait a couple times, and they're active. They're looking at it, and they're chasing it. Hooked into a couple, nothing crazy. I was pre-fishing for a tournament, so I didn't want to sit and catch all the fish. But yeah.
Heard you got yourself a pickerel.
I got myself a pickerel. Yeah, so
those little snot rockets, they're so aggressive.
Yeah, I ended up catching a couple of them, and it's that thing that I like absolutely hate to put on my boat, like just because they're so slimy and everything. Yeah, so yeah, it's
they like feel different, dude. Like
they do. They're absolutely.
How is the fish wetter than the water?
You're 100% right. That's exactly what it is, and it never gets off your hands. It doesn't
No.
matter
No.
how much you rinse off your hands. It never get. I mean, Bobby loves catching pickerel. I don't know how he does it. I don't know why. I absolutely hate it. I don't
So-
even let him on my boat.
I fish the Pocomoke River in Maryland near my parents' house, and I have a superstition. If I catch a pickerel, like, I'm not gonna do very well bass fishing after that. I don't know why,
Okay.
but it seems to me like once I get that stank on me,
Oh yeah, dude. It's
Like,
ridiculous.
I don't. It may be a superstition. Maybe there's some pheromonal truth to what I'm talking about here. I don't know,
Right.
but it seems
Right.
to me that as soon as I catch a pickerel, the bass fishing gets tougher.
You ever think
Yeah,
it might be on your bait?
It could, dude. It
Whatever
could be. It could be because I mean, it's almost like catching a catfish. Like, it doesn't go away, like that slime.
Yeah. It's I hate catching them. Like I said, Bobby, like, it's totally about catching them. I absolutely hate it.
Dude, they're fun. Listen, they are fun. And
So
and
the
when
bigger
I'm in
ones, the
Go ahead.
bigger
Yeah.
ones are the bigger ones are fun, but we don't we don't catch a ton of the big ones here. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like the ones where you're like, oh my god, is this a big pickerel or like an average sized pike or a smaller pike? You know what I mean? We
Dude,
don't get many of those.
down in Maryland on the Pocomoke, like most of the ones I catch are like at least 36 inches.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, you don't see that here very often.
They're
That's-
big.
those are fun to catch. Those are fun to catch. I mean, that's any fish that size is fun to catch.
So you got the waters in the mid 40s up there.
Yeah. Yep.
And ice is off at least
Ice-
in
ice-
Mass.
Ice is off in Mass. It's gone. The even like the lake that's local to me, that's down the street from me. They drain that down. That's one of my favorite lakes to fish, but they drain it down a ton. So I'm waiting for them to put the water back in there so the fish can start moving around. So
I you know what? That actually is it's a question I have, and I should keep better notes, but the lake that I fish close to me, the water is not normally what I remember it being at springtime. It seems way down.
Is it public
Okay.
water? Like
It
drinking
is.
water?
It's Lake Arthur.
Yeah, but is it like utility water?
No, not as far
Right.
as I know. Lake Arthur is just a freaking lake and a state park. I don't think they do anything with it besides just it being a lake.
They might have drained it down just to do some repairs on the infrastructure.
So like but then again, Josh, like, listen, you and I were just out
Yep.
and the water is down.
Yep.
So I'm very curious about why every water I'm hearing about thus far this year.
My lake is up. Everything
water
by
is
me is
down.
up.
Oh, everything in Ohio is up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Everything's a mud hole.
That's
Like,
crazy.
even when I went and goofed around at like golf courses the other day, it's still a mud hole and the water's well up into the cattails. But you know, where we were fishing, unless there's a hole with a drain in the middle and they get to decide when to pull it up and pull it down, like, I don't know how that would lose water.
Well, it would lose water if there's not a lot of water.
right.
But what would be normal pool is what I'm saying. What's normal pool? Because if it's not,
Now,
being
you know what though?
utilized,
You know what though? We were out in AEP and they actually can control those. I've seen it in many, many different strip mine ponds. They actually do have there's an orifice at one end or the other
right?
that actually does allow them to control what's coming out.
Got it.
Why they would want to control it is beyond me, because I mean, they're gone. What do they care? Like, they've done stripped the minerals and and left. What do they give a crap about?
They filled it
I
with
don't
water
know.
so nobody else can get in there.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, nobody's. Maybe that's what Lake Arthur's for. Maybe that's what Joe's fishing.
But
there in
Yeah,
New England.
yeah, it's crazy. They do it out of the convenience of people, taking their docks out and putting them back in. I know that's a big reason for it. and another one they think it's gonna kill some leftover vegetation or whatever that that they don't want there essentially, but
Right.
it's invasive.
At Lake Arthur, they haven't even put the floating part of the dock back on yet.
Yeah.
When I was out there, so it's not back on yet. So, but I got to tell you, like I'm rooting for less water, because less water is going to make that grass grow like crazy. And the more the grass grows in my lake, the better the fishing is, like,
Sure. Yeah.
period. So
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
But so I just want to let anybody know that's watching and listening. Thank you very much, Joe, for that fishing conditions report out of Massachusetts.
Yes.
We are looking for people from all across America to do the same thing that Joe just did. Hop on real quick. Let us know what's going on in your area. You know, if you want to tell us what they're biting on, if you want to tell us where they're at, but definitely let us know what's going on with the water, and stuff like that. We're looking for people from all across America to do this for us. And if you are interested in doing that, you don't have to hop on live like Joe did. Joe, we appreciate you hopping on live, but you can just prepare a little video for us. You know, I don't know. Maybe
write us an email.
2
if
minutes.
You want to remain anonymous, write us
2
an email.
minutes
we'll
or
read
less.
it.
And we'll play it. Joe, thank you very much, man.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Emma, it was
Thank
very
you,
nice
guys.
to see you.
Say
Tell
bye.
your
Say
parents
bye,
to make
Emma.
sure they bring you next time.
All right,
Thanks,
Joe.
guys.
We'll talk to you later.
We'll
buddy.
see you soon.
We'll
Good luck
see you,
out
Joe.
there.
Thank you.
So here's
right.
a little Ohio report. Ponds are good. Anything bigger than a pond is pretty tough. Rivers are moving. Rivers are off color from what I've seen Ryan fishing. It's still not to its normal, but that is normal for right now. Like, it's going to be muddy. It's going to be higher than, it's going to be up. The water is going to be a little rougher. The rivers are what I really want to get into. I want to get into the rivers, dude. I'm tired of just catching squeaker 15 inchers and making that the success story of the day. We went out yesterday and the wind was just, the wind just didn't want us to be there. Like, there was a Y-shaped reservoir that we fished, and for whatever reason, the wind was blowing two different directions in both arms.
I think that wind was blowing so strong out of one direction.
Funneling.
It would just hook around that corner and go nuts in that smaller arm of that lake.
Yep.
Or whatever. I don't know. It's I don't know if you can call that thing a pond. It's pretty big.
No, dude, I don't know if you can call any of them ponds. I understand acreage wise, like, still, dude, those things are huge. They're like the size of the Muddy Creek arm.
I've looked into this, and the definition that sticks with me about ponds and lakes is it is judged by whether or not the light reaches the bottom.
Right.
So if you get into a body of water where the light cannot touch the bottom in any portion of that body of water, so you've got a lake. If you have a pond, the light doesn't hit the bottom of the body of water. Now, I'm guessing that's a majority thing. So, like, in the majority of the body of water, the light touches the bottom, or the majority of the water does, or the majority of, the lake or whatever, the body of water, the light doesn't touch, whether it touches or doesn't touch. That's what I'm
gonna hit you with a hot take.
Hot take.
It's arbitrary. It's just what you want to call it.
Nuanced.
Well, you got to think back in the day. Back in the day, not really nuanced at all. Back in the day, a lot of people lived coastal, right? You had rivers and oceans. Like,
right.
People didn't really know Lake Erie was a lake until they went across it. They could have thought it was an ocean. Like, obviously, that's not a pond. Duh. We
Right.
call it the big pond because you know what people mean when they say the big pond. But, like, when we're discussing when a body of water is the size of an arm at a big lake that's hundreds of acres, that's a lake, dude.
Yep.
Like that the first one we fished was a lake, the second one we fished was a pond.
Absolutely, I 100% agree.
And I don't think you can call it a reservoir because I think there is actually a definition for reservoir.
No,
so I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna pump the brakes on that.
Reservoir is 100%. Whoa, natural fishing, natural state fishing. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, see,
Been
a
a
lot
while.
of people call lakes by depth, which is a weird thing to me. Like, there's
Well,
like,
depth would be back to that whether or not the light touches the bottom
comes
or not.
down to
But my thing is this: I was up with Joe fishing the St. Lawrence, and there were places that were 20, 30 feet deep where the light was touching the bottom of the water because
it's clear.
It's literally filled with gin.
Well, the St. Lawrence is actually a river. It's a big canal. And like
canals, by the way, that's where most people in America fish is canal.
And if you look at the St. Lawrence River, it's very much it's very obvious that it's like flooded glacial grooves. Like that river is nothing but a gigantic inlet to the sea, which then just flows pretty much through a majority of the Great Lakes. And it genuinely reminds me of a southern lake system. Like Kentucky Lake is just a flooded, very wide section of the Tennessee River or the Kentucky River, whichever you decide to call it. Lake Cumberland is the same way. There's a lot of lakes in Tennessee that go like this. And they're all just flooded rivers. And then they got these little arms that come out.
Yeah, they dam them up. It's a little system. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what the St. Lawrence reminds me of.
I wish I could remember the name of it. Tennessee River Valley something or other.
There's a state college up there. Tennessee River Valley. It might be. Anyways, let's get back to the box because
actually, before we get back to the box, I would like to give you a quick report here from PA. The water is still very cold. It's not in the 50s yet.
Yeah, the water's still cold.
Yes, the water is still very cold. The wind is nuts. Even in Pennsylvania, which usually wind in Pennsylvania isn't an issue. Our hills and valleys and hollers, they usually break that up pretty well. But even here in Pennsylvania, the wind has been crazy. I've never seen the Tennessee Valley Authority. Yes, Mr. Natural
TVA
State
lakes.
Matt. Thank you. But anyways, no, even the wind even here in PA right now has been absolutely crazy. What I've seen being out on and listen, I've only been out one time, but for me, the ticket to fishing right now is water clarity. The water's cold. Stay away from the dirty water. If you have a choice between fishing clean water and dirty water, fish the clean water. That's where they're going to be. I mean, literally on the arm of the lake that I was fishing, I had 3 different colors of water, and that there was one color and it was the cleanest. And that's where I got the bites. Were there fish other places? Probably. Did they bite? No.
See, that's where you and I differ. Clear water makes me uncomfortable.
Listen, dude, it's Lake Arthur.
Yep.
Clean water is a relative term.
Right. It just depends on the day. It could be.
It wasn't clear like that pond we were fishing.
I don't think I've seen water. I don't think I fished water that clear.
It was just cleaner water.
Even Erie has a tinge.
It was just cleaner water. So like there was mud lines and everything else like that from where the wind was blowing and everything else going on. But definitely pay attention to your water clarity here in PA. Try to fish the cleaner stuff. And I think it's gonna do y'all a favor. But that being said, I was personally fishing a finesse spinnerbait, the morsel. and I was doing very well bumping it off of uh, uh, old vegetation, underwater vegetation, like systems. I don't know what the hell it is, like root systems and stuff like that. So I was bumping it off of the old vines and stuff like that. And every time I would bump into those vines or stems or whatever you want to call them, that's when I would get bit. So that seemed to do me a lot of favors on a lake in southwestern Pennsylvania. All right, back to the box.
Back to the box. So we've got ourselves another spinnerbait. It's been the year of the spinnerbait, whether it be inline, finesse, or just kind of a crash and burn. This is the 501 tandem from Brazalo. This is a very small profile bait. This is going to rival the size of like a Martin's Northern Forage. This is a very compact, burnable, power fishable spinnerbait that you have the ability to slow down due to this double big spoon style blade. This is in Indiana. Some people got in Oklahoma, and then it's paired up with a Colorado. Throwing a ton of vibration, throwing a ton of flash. It's a great thin wire hook. Still a sturdy thin wire hook. I've been messing with it damn near the whole live stream. And this big blade's going to kick a lot of water around. It's going to throw a lot of vibration, and it's going to keep that spinnerbait up in the water column, especially when you're fishing.
Do you have the Oklahoma or the Indiana?
I have two Indianas. So
no, you've got a Colorado and an Indiana.
Yes, they're all Colorado, Indiana, or Oklahoma, Indiana.
No, the Oklahoma. So the Oklahoma is almost the same shape, except for it's pointed at the bottom.
It's got a ridge here. You'll have a ridge like it's bent, and then it comes down to a diamond style point.
Yeah, it's actually got like a hard point on it.
Yeah, it's got a hard point. It's similar. Think of like a hybridized Colorado willow blade, but it's throwing a lot more vibration than a willow.
Like a Colorado and a willow had a baby.
Right. And it's still my favorite thing about double spoon blades is the helicopter on the way down. The fall rate's real nice. I fish a spinnerbait fast, so I like keeping it up in that water column. This blade style allows you to keep that bait up in the water column
at slower speeds.
At slower speeds, right? And just keeping it up. Like I love throwing a spinnerbait like a wake bait a lot, and then giving it a couple rips, just letting that skirt pulse, letting those blades pulse, and then right back to business. A lot of times in the spring, you'll get a lot of fish darting off the bank, rolling on top of that thing in just 2 inches of water. And that's one of the major reasons why we went with this blade design. Those shallow water guys, the guys who have the ability to power fish really hard right now in March, this is your bait. If you like spinner baits and you like fishing fast and you like fishing shallow water and you've got the ability because your water temperature is over 60 degrees or 50.
Yeah, which is you boys below the Mason-Dixon.
Yes. The guys down in the southern part of the United States. And for the guys up here, this is perfect for us too, because you can still fish this slow. You can still slow roll it. You can drag it on the bottom. A lot of times, dude, in the wintertime, just to keep that profile small, I will put like a white or just like a chartreuse, like piece of a trick worm or just a piece of Cinco, stick worm. Pardon my apologies. It's like Kleenex and freaking tissue paper, right?
Band-Aids.
Like just something to cover like this right here.
I'll be back,
like
bub.
Ryan. Yeah, you're good. Like Ryan was talking about with that unnatural trailer style on a jig, does the same thing on a spinnerbait. I'm real big on that. Like a lot of times there's like the beetle grubs with just the two little tails like this. Like I'll just put one of those on there. Or just the fat end of a grub, cut the tail, just put that on there. And that's going to be my, that's my ballast for one. Plastic adds a lot of balance to a heavier lead head bait. This is 3/8, and the plastic adds a good bit of balance. It's not going to blow out left or right. I personally do not think that matters. I think fish see the flash. They feel that vibration. They don't care if it's 30 degrees to the left a little bit and it's kind of wobbling and your 4-inch swim bait trailer looks a little weird. They see that flash. They get angry at it. They go eat it, especially in the spring. And that's why we've been throwing a good deal of power finesse, power fishing baits. Like this box is the perfect balance of a potential power finesse. We're talking like bait casting power finesse. There's some spinning rod gear in here, right? But we're talking to the medium heavy actions. That like 6'8" to like 7'4" rod length range, that medium heavy action. And the next bait I personally love. I have started to teach myself how to throw these baits on the bait casting gear, whether it be like a bit of a heavier BFS, because Zach and I, not only do him and I have polarizing opinions on BFS, but our opinions in comparison to the BFS world are still inverted. I'm throwing my BFS is like 3/16 and his is like 5/8. So we've got a new bait alert. This is a recent release and the coolest clamshell packaging I've personally ever seen. This is the Somatis 3.5-inch Vixen. And as you could tell by the profile, holy smokes, that is a business end if I've ever seen one. That is going to move whether you are dead, just dead. Not even if there is one bit of current in that river, that's what this tail's going to do. You got a big fat body that's going to allow stabilization. It's not going to blow the bait out. It's not going to roll it out. Again, I personally think the rolling helps. I've actually been throwing this as a trailer on this 501 spinnerbait because it's perfect. 3.5 inches, perfect length. The skirt on this is perfect. Brazalo, dude, I got nothing but nice things to say about Danny at Brazalo. Like the guy, he makes a great product. It's all wire tied, hand tied stuff. Great skirt designs, and that's a big thing. Skirt design, like Bass Dope. Everybody makes a swim jig, but do they make a swim jig in slime snot or moon rocket or stink bomb or whatever fun colors he may have? No,
well,
they don't.
A lot of people make swim jigs, but how many people have a proprietary design?
And that was my second point. There's a lot of thought that goes into that, and the swim jig is a very overthought bait. A lot of people think bullet head design, vertical line tie, we're good to go. The points that he made were the first things that I saw about that bait. Like when I first got that bait, I was like, oh, dude, like this is going to be the best swim jig I've ever used. And again, I do not get snot on my line tie. I do not get it on the body of the jig itself. Most times it's wrapped around the trailer or it's just stuck on the brush guard, and what it is slime.
There's a lot of places I go to fish where if there is a space between the eye and the head,
your weeds,
I can't throw it.
Yeah, like where you fish, and I'm throwing Texas rigs. If my hook eye comes out of that plastic, I literally change the plastic, put the same bait on, run it like an inch up the hook eye. So we gotta get back to Somatis, give it the respect it deserves. 3.5-inch swim bait. It's got a great design. There's actually, if I can get it to focus, that's such a hot color. You can kind of see these dots at the top. What I've realized is these dots are a great indicator for where you should put your hook. There's a dot that specifically runs perfect for a 2-aught hook, and this is great on a 2-aught ball head jig. Dude, I'm smiling like a butcher's dog. Stuff like that makes me so happy, man. Right. Like a 1/8 ounce Jig Masters perfected ball head jig. Again, everybody. It's been 1 week and I still can't stop talking about it. It's been a year and a half since we featured it. I still can't stop talking about it. Best ball head jig I ever used. Ned rigs, shaky head rigs, swim baits, moving baits, anything. That jig, screw it in, you're done. Like until this tail gets bit off, it's gonna stay. I would like to point out that the ball head jig, especially the one from Jig Masters, is probably one of the most, as far as bottom composition goes, is probably the most versatile jig out there. It will come through rocks. Yep.
it will come through grass.
Yep.
It comes through a lot.
You know what, dude? I'm gonna say something again. Just little hot takes. I like lead better than I do tungsten. If I'm fishing rocks, I know what rocks feel like. I understand
depends.
it sounds different. I get it. You cannot force tungsten through rocks the same way you can lead. You can bend lead out of those rocks. I've done it a million times. I lose tungsten, dude. Tungsten sinks in those rocks.
I think each one has a time and a place,
Yep.
and it just matters to me. It just matters what it's like a numbers thing, right? So like if I'm going to be in a place where lead has an advantage more often than tungsten has an advantage, then I'm gonna throw lead.
Tungsten.
If I'm gonna be in a place where tungsten has a better advantage over lead more often than not, then I'm gonna throw tungsten. And there are differing. It does change from body of water to body of water.
Yes, I'm specifically talking about a direct connect forged bait, right? Like I'm not talking weights. I'm talking a ball head jig.
Okay, you're talking about a jig head.
Yes, pretty much exclusively. Like a tungsten Ned, that's neat because I'm throwing Ned rigs in similar places that I would throw tungsten. A tungsten ball head jig on a ledge, I'll do that because I'm not fishing moving water. I'm not like I'm obviously fishing deep. I'm watching this line go down. I want it to sink. I want it to have a smaller profile. I want to feel it hit the bottom. That's the only problem I do have with lead is sometimes it's difficult just to feel it hit the bottom initially. That's really it. Like I can watch my line droop.
For you cheap box fishermen, the bigger the better.
Yeah. Like
literally the bigger the bait you're fishing is, the better the return is going to be.
Right. I remember when the tungsten jig came out. And the biggest problem I had with the tungsten jig is that if you're going to get snagged, it's in there. Like it hit that rock, it grew arms and went into that hole, and you're never getting it back.
It said, "I'm never coming home."
Yep, it's like your prepubescent teenager that's pissed off and doesn't want to come down to family dinner. Lead's just the dude that's like, you can, all right, it takes some convincing, but I'll come out of my room. You just got to dent my head a little bit. But we got to talk about this clamshell. So it's a pack of 7 for $6.59. By the way, that's a crazy nice deal.
Yep.
And I'm sorry I misspoke. It's a pack of 8.
Yep.
I've the number.
That's because they're all crisscross applesauce in there.
So you've got 3 here, 1, 2, 3, and then you turn this around. It is a booklet style clamshell. This is genius. Like I've never been so excited over a clamshell. You open this up like a book, and then you've got your baits right here. You just pull them out, obviously, because it's a clamshell. But dude, you've got 5x3. Now, I know why he did that. You can do a 5x5. He doesn't want to make it a 10-pack. Because if you made it a 10-pack, you'd have to sell for $8. And nobody wants to pay $8 for soft plastics. It's a tough break. $6.59, perfect price. You're paying less than $1 a bait, which is very difficult to find in this market unless you shop at Dark Horse Tackle. Like a lot, you go to the store, dude, and you look at the prices on some of these bags, like Yamamoto went from a 10 count to an 8 count.
Yep.
And that's more expensive than they were once they got picked up by the evil empire. And I think I will just start calling GSM the evil empire. I did see somebody made a TikTok and they were like, there is a real, somebody's like, man, Walmart's really popping off right now. And like every single product that they picked up was GSM. And I'm like, yeah, they struck a deal with GSM. And they're like, yeah, you probably don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, or crazy idea. Here's a crazy idea. Look up Dobbins, look up Yamamoto, look up this company, that company, the other company, and just look at this. You'll see right here, you'll see your Dobbins, and then up here, you'll see GSM. And I know it's confusing and it's scary, and you're like, nah, Gary Yamamoto lives in Texas and he makes them in his basement. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Not anymore.
Jake Corbin lives in Missouri and makes him in a, I would imagine, probably like a really cool shed or something. I don't know. Maybe he makes him in his kitchen.
No, we'll have to find out, though, because I'm sure Corey will come on with us.
I bet he's got a very, very, very interesting setup. And Ryan mentioned the drifter earlier. That was his first bait. The drifter was his first bait. It's like a 5.5, 6.5 inch. I wouldn't say do nothing, but just no like flappy appendages, just a very straight profile. If you took like a stick worm and smashed it and then just like cut it like a Christmas tree, that's what you get in the drifter. It's a super badass like.
Oh, it is. It's very badass.
Yeah, and I remember when he first started as J Corwin, I was like, dude, I gotta get some bags. And what's nice is that his pricing, honestly, his pricing is damn good for what you're getting. Like you're buying a bait that you can get one place. That guy could charge $8 to $9 a bag of plastics, and guess what? They'd have still gone in your box. Because I got no problem paying a little bit more money for something I can't get anywhere else.
No, there isn't a soft bait in his catalog that you guys aren't going to see. Eventually.
My favorite's the mongrel, dude. The mongrel as like a jig trailer or a flipping bait, like man.
Very nice for whenever you're looking for the less action. Style of trailer for something
like
we keep talking about trailers, but I need you guys to understand something.
It's also
you could Texas rig one of these things and it's lights out.
Like Ryan said, you could throw this thing on a ball head jig if you wanted to. The nicest thing about this bait, though, realistically, yes, we could have done a twin tail jig or a twin tail grub, but for one, the profile of this bait is perfect for flipping, and we want you to get multiple uses out of this. Is it designed to be a jig trailer? 100%. Could it be used that way? 100%. But like Zach just said, we want you to flip, pitch with it, figure out your own way. Because
hey,
guess
listen,
what?
the broad side of that bait is going to let you skip that thing like a dream.
Yep. You can skip the crap out of it with this jig, and you can skip the crap out of it with a Texas rig. But this pairing right here. This is, dude, we've done it again. It's all paired up and matched up. I've got another box here.
It's funny. I've seen a few people do some unboxings with the March box, and it's just the second time I've said this tonight. It's crisscross applesauce. They're like, this bait goes with this bait goes with that, this bait goes with this bait goes with that. It goes with everything.
Sure.
Everything works with everything.
Yeah. Like, dude, it's all subjective. Like the reason why we picked the mule was
it's kind of proven a point, honestly, guys. We're kind of sometimes Josh and I we get a little
a wild hair up our rear end.
Yeah, and we're trying to prove a point where we want you guys to use your imaginations. We want you to get the box and then get the hell out of the box.
Right.
With what you're doing fishing. Have some fun. Try something. Does it look wild to you?
Dude, in regards to the big book of fishing, you know, the one that you would read while you were using the bathroom with the really nice fake mahogany cover on it. And it's got that picture of a bass from like 1982 that has a lizard this long hanging out of its mouth. And it's got an O'Shaughnessy hook for some reason. You know, it's almost like it's AI. We don't go by that book. Zach has never gone by that book. I have never gone by that book. That is a great book to understand the basics of fishing. But while Zach and myself are giving you basic information on fishing, we are also giving you very technique specific, very technical stuff, very much outside the box.
It was very crazy. I am very much the guy that does read the book.
Yes.
I read the books. I listen to all the things. But one of the very first things I did was take baits that were meant for something else.
Yep.
And do something completely different with them. And it has become my most preferred way of fishing, and a way that I catch fish on a very regular and consistent basis.
When I was,
and it was by just going, well, this might work for something else, and gave it a shot, and just, dude, I kill him.
Yep. When I was 16, that was the first time I ever applied it to like tournament fishing, because that's, we'll have a whole podcast on hot takes here soon. I don't like that tournament fishing is what legitimizes someone as a fisherman. Somebody who does tournament fish, I love pond fishing. I love catching bass. I own a business that is purposefully trying to get you to catch more bass.
If y'all don't believe him, then I should have definitely recorded, and I actually may have it on some B-roll of Josh throwing a temper tantrum because there were not fish being caught on his day off.
Yes. And he's like, enjoy the day off. And I'm like, expletive. He's like, you're being a brat. Yes, you're right. I am, because I want to catch fish. But I was young. I was very young. And I remember pissed my mom off. I broke the good Pyrex. I had a bunch of chewed up Cincos, and I took those chewed up Cincos. I had watermelon red, and I had watermelon candy, and I had a bunch of green pumpkin. And I just threw them all into a Pyrex, put them in the microwave, poured them into the cap of the ink holder of a Sharpie. So it's got that nice little whoop. And I was throwing a lot of shaky heads at the time, the Zoom trick worms, and they were too light for me. I did not like how light those worms felt on a 1/8 ounce jig head. And I'm like, I just want more body. So I poured it into like a 4-inch Sharpie ink cartridge. And my dad is like, what are you doing? And I just kept reheating it, pouring it, pulling it out, sitting it down. I made like 10 of them. And I was like, these are going to work. I'm like, as shaky heads. And he's like, well, those things are too small. And I'm like, I don't think they're too small. We catch fish on jigs. Like, jigs are small, okay? Jigs are a small bait. Small but big. We get it. We're not going to argue that. Literally just straight rigged it up on a 3/16 ounce ball head jig. And the next week, my dad and I went out and fished a tournament. I fished nothing but that bait because I was so proud that I made it. 22 pounds out of Hoover. And 90% of that was me.
Nice, man.
It's awesome. And that kind of innovation going against the grain, right? I'm supposed to be throwing, my dad was saying you're supposed to throw trick worms. That's a shaky head worm. Throw a shaky head worm on the shaky head. Now, don't even get me started on the time I started putting bigger trailers on the jig because my dad had only used Super Chunk Juniors. I started throwing the net bait pack-a-crawls when those first came out. And I was swimming the jig with them, and it was going like this. And I'm like, that's like a crankbait. And my dad's like, no, crawdads don't do that. And I'm like, yes, they do. Crawdads literally go like this in the water. What are we talking about?
And then fast forward to 2024 when we put the beef craw.
We're throwing fuzzy dice.
We put the beef craw, baby.
Yeah.
Like,
they get that big. Fish eat that shit. They like it too. They trust me. Fish will eat a French fry all the time. But
we've got a peanut gallery suggestion that when we're talking about these lures, we should have a third screen up with a picture of the lures. That's not a half bad idea. That comes from the Wolf of Walmart.
Yeah. I don't. Where did you see that at?
In a text.
Well, thanks for the participation on Instagram and YouTube, Dave. But yeah, like that kind of innovation is what we want to bring you. Zach's engineering mindset and me being contrarian until proven otherwise is going to help you catch more fish because we're out here doing it. Like, we are fishing in two very different climates. And I wouldn't necessarily say climate as far as weather. I would say climate as far as fishing.
I don't know, man. The weather crosses the state line and it does something completely different.
Yeah, but still, like,
yeah,
I get you. Different climates. Like you're fishing a jungle. Hi, Dave. You're fishing a jungle.
I am. It's actually that's actually a fact that the weather in southwestern PA is more subtropic than it is anything else.
Yep, you got weird humidity, you got peaks and valleys and hollers and mountains and whatever you Appalachian.
I love me a good holler.
Yep, love a good holler. And that does conclude the box.
We made it through. We made it through.
Yep.
We had tackle tip Tuesday. We had fishing reports.
Yep.
We went through a whole box. We had 2 guests.
Yep. 3.
We did some shit today.
Yes.
Boy. Woo.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, Dave, if you had been here, there were baits on the screen. We did that with the baits that I made in my microwave, unfortunately, are long gone, and they are now being mass produced in form of the Ned rig. So I can't do that. Third screen, we screen share. We screen share every now and then if we really got to show you something. Before we leave, I would love to show.
Yeah, let's see some screen share. I'd like you to look up Broken Twigs on Dark Horse Tackle.
I'm 10 steps ahead of you.
It isn't. I did get it into a collection.
So, we've got. There we go.
Yoo-hoo.
There we go. We have got.
Dude, why does it look so funky?
I don't know if JD is still watching, but we do have gaffs for you river smallmouth fishermen. So, if you're into whatever JD's into,
whatever it is, it definitely includes a gaff.
Yeah, it's definitely involving a gaff. Now, one of my favorites is the quick light landing net. This is a very affordable option. It's a 15-inch long, 12-inch wide, 12-inch deep, square-shaped net. I like the square. I like the oblong shape better.
Oh, I think that's actually a little bit. I think the handle on that's a little shorter than mine.
It may be. I believe that you have. Oh, I thought you were going to show off your net.
I did.
Yes, you did. Now, again, for those of you watching, this is a net that floats. It actually also has an integrated custom hockey puck that is a real hockey puck that is molded, not necessarily molded by heat, but it is in place, holding that thing in place. Like, this net's not going to break. You're not going to lose it. You're not going to let go of it, because even if your hands are wet, the hockey sticks come with some form of a glue that keeps it.
There's a coating on here.
Yeah.
That is almost impossible to lose your grip on.
Yeah, that all hockey sticks have that coating.
Like, I can't wait to have Chris on here so you can tell us a little bit more about that. But I am telling you right now, like, when you grab this stick,
right,
that's it.
Yes,
that is it. You're not going to lose your grip on it until you open your hand up.
I think you have the medium landing net.
Now, I think you're right.
I like the medium landing nets. The extra long, dude, I doubt.
I'm on a kayak. I don't need it.
And
but
then he's got
guys on a boat, you may need it.
His hoodies are awesome. They're laced with a hockey lace, which I think is just so freaking badass. It
is badass, dude.
$50 too. Like, that's an affordable hoodie. Now, I'm going to go to another thing that is really exciting for us. Again, Yak Gadget. I just purchased the Camera Grip XD. That is going to be mounted to my kayak, hell or high water. And that is going to be the new recording device, recording catalyst, if you will. My lovely girlfriend tried to be sneaky and get a cell phone gripper for me, but, being the owner of the company and tracking sales, you see.
I happened to see it. Hey, I saw it way before you did, and I said nothing. I tried. So April. I tried.
We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this cell phone grip holder mounted to the front. I was talking to Zach today. We're both working on angles. Zach has pretty much found his. I'm still working on mine. Like, half the time I stand up, it's not showing me. And
I would like to point one thing out real quick about my net here. for you kayak guys. Do you see this? There's a
Well,
D-ring on the end of this
little
net.
holder for it.
There's a D-ring on the end of this net, which will allow you to tether it.
Yes.
So that many things were thought of.
Yes. And between Yak Gadget, again, we have said this and we will continue to say this. These are Dark Horse tackle products. Like, this is what we stand by. This is what we use in the field. And they also share the same mindset, which is that innovation. Yes, there's plenty of accessories for boating. Yes, there's plenty of baits out there. But are they coming from small businesses in the United States? Are they proprietary? Are they being overthought to the point where you find this thing, you look at this thing, and you're like, oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. The net.
We want you guys to stop eating Soylent Green.
Yeah. Stop buying inferior product, man. I don't care if that makes people mad. Stop buying inferior products. Buy a better net. Spend the extra $10.
Yep.
Spend the extra $10. It's lighter. It's stronger. It floats. It is the best net, bar down, hockey reference, you will ever use. Like, it's just, dude, it's just better in every way. And I can honestly, like,
not only that, dude, he's upcycling.
Yes.
That's something that would have been in the trash.
Yeah. This is real. That's what recycling was meant to be. Yeah. Believe it or not. Yeah. Hey, we took this plastic. We didn't burn it into a giant pile of trash with the rest of the trash. We actually made it into something new. Look at that.
Badass.
What do we know? Hey.
All right.
We're at 9:32.
Little long here. We had things to say.
Little long. And
but yeah, guys, definitely keep your eye on our website. Keep an eye on darkhorsetackle.com. Not only are you going to see new products populating, new baits, and stuff like that, it's going to be coming up literally daily. We have a little bit of a backlog because of expo season and the change to the inventory location. So there's a little bit of a backlog on new baits coming onto the site, but literally daily they're being added. So keep your eyeballs on the baits and keep your eyeballs out on the fishing-centric non-bait products that are being added to Dark Horse Tackle.
Yes.
This is the best way that we can support these companies that are not making baits but are part of the fishing industry.
Yes.
And we've got them, so come get them.
Exactly. We got shipments of baits coming in, and we're getting ever so close to
coming very, very, very soon. The Tackle Talk Bass Fishing Essentials.
Yes.
Everything you need to walk down, drive down, float down, whatever you're going to do down to a body of water and catch some bass, coming very soon. We're going to put it in a box, but we're not calling it a box.
No. And it's not a basics box. It's not a beginner's box. It's
the essentials.
The essentials. It is what you need anywhere throughout the country that carries largemouth bass.
Yep.
And you will find them. And you will take them away from your families, and you will have a nice shore lunch. Listen, I can finally hypnotize everybody into eating bass.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, Josh, I'm telling you right now, somebody near and dear to our hearts has recently said that they are writing a bass cookbook.
That's hilarious.
We will sell that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We will sell that,
guys. It's not what you think it is. Okay, like, we're not out here terrorizing the planet, but also,
or it is.
Professional anglers are not the conservationists that you think they are. Like, these guys do more damage as a unit practicing for a lake than I could ever do in a year of fishing. Okay, they're live scoping everything. The way that I see some
professionals and
Handle fish?
and YouTubers handle fish is disgusting. Like, there is zero respect for the fish. And I know it's weird to say, considering that our favorite thing to do incorporates jamming a hook through the fish's face,
Sure.
but you don't have to disrespect past that point. Oh, look at that fat fish. We got just slapping around a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should come down off that horse,
As
man.
we digress, because I know everybody who bass fishes just wants to be a professional tournament angler. And hey, I believe in you. But I know that 3-pounder you caught at your grandpa's. Yeah, that's great, dude. Concentrate. All right, you'll catch fish.
Hey, thank you everybody for continuing to choose Dark Horse Tackle. Make sure you keep an eye on us. We're always trying to get better. We're always trying to do better for you.
Yep.
And have a fantastic freaking spring.
Yeah, we'll see you in April.
Get them, baby.
The April box.
Oh. Speaking of which, I got a bone to pick real quick. One of our pro staffers, Eli, took it upon himself to tell the Jigs and Bigs audience about one of the baits coming out in the
Yeah, and then he gets mad like, "Oh, you guys don't tell me anything." Well,
I see you, Eli. I listen to everything. I see
an
it
audience
all.
of 12.2 million people with Dark Horse Tackles. That number might have been overshot by a couple thousand.
Oh, hey, real quick before we hop off of here. Absolute 100%, hands down. Pour some liquor out, or your beverage of choice. Pour it out on the ground. Clap your hands, shoot off some fireworks. Easton Fothergill, bang up job, man. Bang up freaking job. Way to show him, because I'll tell you what, that kid worked. He worked for everything. I've heard a lot of stories about him. I've read up on him. I've watched a lot about him. That boy is ate up.
Yes.
With bass fishing, and it brought him right to where he belonged.
Yeah.
At the top.
Yep.
So bang up job. That being said,
dude, I love that kid.
Oh, Jesus Christ. How can we? Oh, should I not have said that? Anyways, Andrew Hayes.
Yeah. Big shout out to
Andrew Hayes. Andrew Hayes. Congratulations, man. You might have been the best comment. I mean, well, Zona was on there. But
dude, Zona was busy. You could see it in his face. He did not like the broadcast. Day one, I could see him doing this.
Yeah, like he's like, "What have you guys been doing since I've been gone?"
The lights were overhead at first. They went to some fishing, and then it was like this.
Yeah.
April and I were watching it, and I'm like,
he get Zona come in and would crack the whip.
It was.
But I was definitely glad to see, and I hope Zona continues to come back for the Classic, if nothing else. But Andrew Hayes coming on as a commentator, and doing some interviews and stuff like that. You know what? That best move that Bass has made in a long time. Best move that Bass has made in a long time. And congratulations to you, Andrew Hayes. Big props, bub. All right, that's it. Let's go.
Y'all. See you in 2 weeks.